And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I am your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
Hey, did you hear Timmy fell down a well?
Timmy?
Yeah, Timmy.
Fell down a well?
Timmy fell down a well. I heard it from Lassie. He was telling me about Timmy falling down a well.
Oh, I heard it from the radio.
Oh, you heard it from the radio? Was it from Bart, maybe?
Oh, that Bart. He is a prankster.
He is. Crazy Bart and his radio. So, if you guys haven't gotten already, we are going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 13, Radio Bart. This episode aired January 9th, 1992.
The first episode of 1992.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a hiatus, I think.
Oh, 1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
They took off for New Year's. It's okay.
Which is crazy because they didn't take off for Christmas.
No, they didn't. Well, it was the day after Christmas. Well, yeah. So they didn't take off for Christmas. And they decided, you know what? We got New Year's. We'll take off for that. We'll go party and we'll come back later.
Yeah.
And so the recap. Bart fools the town into thinking there's a little boy trapped in a well.
That's dirty. That's dirty stuff, Bart.
I mean, it was going to be something simple until it turned into something horrible.
Yes.
So the chalkboard gag this week, I will not carve gods. So was he carving like the Olympic gods? The guy like Zeus and Ares, or
false idols?
Carving just false idols, or
I don't know.
Selling them on the playground?
Maybe. That's a weird chalkboard to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Not necessarily the best. I think that one's a little bit not Bart-like. I don't think.
No.
I don't think he's that insane.
No.
We also got a different sax solo this week. It was kind of a slower one, I think. Like not as jazzy.
Yeah.
So the couch gag. The Simpsons sit on the couch by like kind of bouncing up and down. You know, like when you jump on a couch, kind of do your little bounce thing. And what happens is they sit in their exact order. And as they're bouncing, Homer bounces past Marge, past Bart, past Lisa, and past Maggie, and winds up on the far end of the couch.
Yeah, I did not notice that.
Yeah, it took me like 5 times to realize, because when you said they came in bouncing on the couch, I was like, okay. And then I watched them like, something doesn't seem right. So I rewound it, watched it again. I'm like, okay, Maggie's kind of like doing a weird bouncing thing. What's going on? So I rewound it, watched it again. And I was like, okay, something still doesn't seem right. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch them sit down. Okay, they're in their normal order. Okay, wait a minute. Homer's at the end of the couch. So I rewound it one more time. Wait, Homer's bouncing past each of the family members getting to the end of the couch.
Oh,
so I this was a thinker. This couch gag, I think they put a lot of thought into.
Clearly.
And
I even missed it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're bouncing on the couch. They're sitting down. Okay.
No, it was more intricate than that.
Man, that's crazy. I guess it should pay a little bit more attention to detail on those couch gags from now on.
Just
because so far they've been basic couch gags.
I know. That's why I like rewound this thing like 5 times, because I'm like, I gotta figure this one out. This is gonna drive me insane.
Yeah. So we start this episode with Lisa dancing and watching like a dancing video thing going on, and
was it like a workout video? Was it like a jazzercise or something?
I think it was like a music video. I think like a Soul Train-esque kind of show.
I guess.
And so Homer sees Lisa dancing to it, and he doesn't like it, but he looks at the TV and sees all these sexily clad women dancing, and he just kind of trails off while talking to Lisa and stares at the TV. And he sits down, and in the reflection of his eyes and in his drool, we see a woman twerking. So 1990, like, I don't know how long that style of and I put style in quotes because I don't really consider it dancing, but I don't know how that style of dancing has been around.
Yeah, that I guess I don't know.
So while Homer's staring at the screen, Lisa asks Homer if she can have some money to buy Bart a birthday present, which it's
see, there we go. See, like at the very first episode of the season, Lisa's begging Bart.
Yeah.
to get a good birthday present.
But that's because Bart never comes through.
Yes.
So Homer, takes out his wallet, takes out a wad of cash, and hands Lisa $110. And he goes, money. While he's handing her the money, he goes, money. And then after telling Homer that, he gave her $110, Homer's like, oh, and then just hands the rest of his wallet over.
Like she was wanting more and not concerned that he handed him so much money.
But she walked away with it all.
Yeah, she's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll go buy some Malibu Stacy dolls with it.
So while Homer's watching TV, we see a commercial for the Superstar Celebrity Microphone. And they're trying to sell it, and the kid in the commercial singing Convoy by C.W. McCall. We're gonna get a convoy, blah 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 blah. And then Homer goes, that could be Bart.
Yeah, right.
And so the television commercial for the Superstar Celebrity Microphone that Homer is watching was inspired by a popular Ronco Mr. Microphone commercial from the late 1970s, in which a boy becomes popular and quote unquote scores with the girls by using his microphone to be on the radio. Both commercials, the fake one that the Simpsons do and the real Mr. Microphone one, feature a boy riding by in a car full of friends saying, hey, good looking, we will be back to pick you up later. A line the staff that they thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's a reference right there. And so in the commercial, like, it's a perfect gift for birthdays, graduations, and board meetings. Okay, I guess.
Well, maybe for board meetings, so you could put like a radio in the room and you could talk into it, so it amplifies your voice.
Yeah. And so, the commercial goes, there's only a limited supply. So Homer's like, oh my God, I got to buy one. So he calls.
At least he didn't do the fat fingers this time that he did for, what was that for?
Oh, the soap stuff.
Yes.
The cleaner.
Yep.
And so he calls the guy and he goes, hey, do you guys have any left? And he's like, it looks like we have a couple left, while staring at a huge warehouse full. And, this reminded me of the episode. Now, granted, the episode in Futurama where they introduced the iPhone.
Yep.
And obviously Futurama and The Simpsons are created by Matt Groening. But in that episode, Fry comes up, asks the cashier if they have any left in stock. And he's like, let me check. He sticks his hand and you see a warehouse full of the iPhones.
So what do you say? The Simpsons did it?
I'm saying Matt Groening copied himself.
Yeah, the Simpsons did it. It might have been from the same creator, but the Simpsons did it. And so once again, Homer just believes that Bart's really gonna like this present, and so
I feel like Homer probably isn't necessarily in the wrong, because it is for a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah,
I feel like this kind of toy would be fun to play with as a 10-year-old.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so I like how, Bart's getting up, and so Homer measures Bart on the height on the wall, which, our moms did, mom did.
I don't remember ever her marking it and writing our age.
I feel like she did. I mean, I do that with Elliot when I'm measuring him. So here's where this whole episode kind of makes me upset. So is Bart turning 10 years old again? Is this a predecessor to Lisa's birthday turning 8, because Bart's 10 in that episode?
Yeah.
When does this episode take place, or is it because they don't age anymore? Bart just keeps turning 10 every year? This is where the whole episode...
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel? Okay, I was just wondering, I don't know where, this episode came from. And now I get they do birthdays for every single character up until season 3 here. They're doing a birthday for every character.
Maybe they should have done Bart first and then Lisa.
Oh, and not only that, or maybe it was, I didn't look it up like you kind of did in season 1 about the order of the episodes, but maybe this one was supposed to air before that one. Because
it's possible.
Because how Lisa goes into Bart's room and says, all those things like, oh, I remembered your birthday and blah, blah, blah. Why can't you, my birthday's coming up. So I either they did it out of order, or they completely forgot about Bart's birthday and were like, okay, this will be a prequel episode to that. But I just, this is where the whole episode just kind of was like, oh my God, what is going on?
Now, remember in our last episode, we said they were caught in a time loop in 1991.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Bart was, well, see, that's the other thing. Bart was 10 last episode. So is he turning 10 again?
Yes.
Okay. We'll go with that. And so Bart, it measures roughly 3 feet tall, maybe a couple inches taller.
Yeah.
And
So it's funny. So I saw Homer marking Bart, and I'm like, I wonder how tall Bart is. So I actually took a tape measure, and kind of like most doors in houses are a standard size, like tall. So I measured from the floor to approximately where Homer drew Bart's line. And so he's about like 3 feet 3 inches, which is relatively short for a 3-year-old.
10-year-old?
Because 10-year-old. I said 3. I had 3 on my brain. Because I actually looked it up. I wanted to see like what the average height for a 10-year-old boy was, and it's roughly 4.5 feet tall. So Bart is a foot shorter than what he probably should be.
Well, we do also learn in the Radioactive Man episode that Bart does need to be taller to be, Fall Out Boy. So
and I have one other note for this scene. So we have seen in the future episodes that Bart's hair is either hair or part of his skull.
Are you talking about Homer drawing the lines?
Yeah. So is that Bart's head, or is he measuring it from the top of his hair, which means Bart was probably maybe like a half an inch shorter?
Well, okay. So, but here, last episode we saw Bart born, and we saw him with the spikes on his head. And yes, kids can be born with hair. It's not an oddity. Like kids are born with hair. So once again, was Bart born like that, or was he born with his hair like that?
I need answers, Simpsons creators. Yeah. I need answers.
Right. And so now we get Bart downstairs watching the Krusty the Clown show, where Krusty's bringing out the birthday cake, and they're singing happy birthday, and Sideshow Mel brings out the cake, and Krusty trips him, and Mel drops into the cake and kicks Mel into the cake, and his hair starts on fire.
Well, there's candles on the cake.
Yep. I guess if depending on the amount of hairspray Mel puts in his little do, I guess that could light on fire. And so he's about to announce all the names in the birthday
club.
Now, okay, funny story before I give you the list.
Yeah.
I was originally gonna try and write them all down because that's what I do. That's kind of the fun part I like to do. And so I paused it literally on Bart Simpson's name.
Nice.
So random. It was so crazy. I couldn't believe I actually did that.
Yeah. Before you list all of the names, because that might take a hot minute, I do want to point out that a lot of local TV stations have a quote-unquote birthday club. You don't have to pay to get in it. All you have to do is send them your name and your birth date, and they'll put you in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost, but to be fair, it's kind of like when you go to like the hockey games and stuff, and they say do your birthday.
Well, you do have to pay
that.
for that. Yeah.
So, Krusty the Clown likes getting money for everything. So here's a partial. I know I'm not going to give you them all. Here's a partial list of Krusty's birthday buddies who are charged $8 a piece. We have Anna Goodwin, Regan Gray, Paul Grenville, Jim Greger, Harriet Hartman, Mike Hines, Julie Hirsch, Janet Hopkins, Kara Hunter, Gracie Jensen, Loretta Kangas, Marilyn Katz, Ken Keeler, John
Hey,
Lazetta.
That's a producer.
Ken Keeler?
Yeah, he's a producer for The Simpsons.
There you go. Lorena Leffler, Mary Lichman, Iris Lowe, Kim Madigrell, Cammie McGovern, Bill McLean, David Moulton, Mary Myron, Nigel Nelson, JP Patches, which is an actual name of a former kids show host in Seattle.
So I wonder if these are all real names.
I tried looking them up. A lot of them aren't.
Oh.
Well, they're real names, but they're no one of consequence.
Famous. Okay.
Yep. Ted Phillips, Randy Plutt, Brandy Reed, Kevin Riley, Pete St. George, Casey Sanders, Matthew Schneider, Patrick Semple, Emma Shannon, Bart Simpson, Larry Stone, Beth Summerlin, Kate Sundberg, Dale Thomas, John Travis, Eric Van Burden.
I thought you were only going to list a partial.
This is partial. The list was pretty long. Patrick Verone, Lee Wallace, Jay Weinstein, Chris White, Jay Wivet, and Henry Yausman. Several of the buddies once wrote for the Harvard Lampoon. So they and I did hear about this. So a lot of the writers and a lot of the staff on The Simpsons were actually brought over from the Harvard Lampoon.
Nice.
So fun. All right, that was a good list for everyone. If you guys are still with us after that,
thank you.
Yes,
thank you for staying with us after Steve just read like 25 names off for no reason.
No reason. This was part of the show. This is what people don't pay for to get from our show.
Yeah.
But if you do pay for it, then thank you for supporting our podcast.
Yeah.
Marge tells Bart that Abe called, so she's like over the side of the thing. She's calling to wish him a happy birthday. Bart's like, "Aw, that's nice. Take a message."
That message is happy birthday.
Yeah, right. Because Bart has things to do. He has a coupon book of 46 things that he needs to do for free goods and services throughout Springfield.
Which I don't ever think I got a birthday coupon book. Now, granted, we lived in Racine.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a birthday coupon book. I know up in Minneapolis. So is there anything I was going to ask, and maybe we'll ask our listeners as well. What's one place on your birthday or birthday month, I guess, because a lot of places nowadays just do within your birthday month. What's your favorite birthday thing that you get to do throughout the city? Is there anything that you personally did this year or in years past?
Well, not this year.
Right. Not this year. But I guess in years past, is there something you did on your birthday every single year because you knew they gave you something free or
get drunk?
Well, no, aside from that.
Get drunk. There's really, no, to be honest, most of the time for my birthdays, there's not a whole lot of places, at least that I can think of in Green Bay, that you get free things on your birthday. Even in Madison when I lived there wasn't a whole lot. And
really?
all I really did on my birthday was drink for free, because that's what you do in Wisconsin.
Well, not from you have friends paying for it. It's not like the bar's giving you free drinks on your birthday.
Yes, they do.
What?
Yes, there is a place here in Green Bay that it is called the Triangle. It is a group of 3 bars that you get free. Don't get me wrong, the beer is like Miller Lite, Budweiser, it's the local, the crappy, quote unquote crappy beers. Or you could get mixed drink, but the alcohol they use is the rail. Yeah. So it's not but they give you free drinks.
Well, for me, unlike my alcoholic Wisconsin brother,
I'm not an alcoholic.
So Buffalo Wild Wings does free wings on your birthday. Dunkin' Donuts does free. Yeah, I don't know where you you don't must check your email, man. I do a bunch of birthday stuff. So free wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, free donuts from Dunkin', free coffees from Caribou. I get my coupons for box lunch, Hot Topic. I try to go a lot of places throughout the city because you just go in, it's my birthday, or you sign up for literally every mailing list for everything these days.
Well, I know Red Robin.
Yep, free burger on your birthday. I used that. Okay, so we were saying, what do I do yearly? I don't do it. I haven't done it in a very long time, but man, for probably from the year 2000 to maybe 2015, 2015, I was doing Red Robin pretty much every year. That was one of my favorites.
Wait, did you say 2000?
Yeah, 2015.
No, you started in the year 2000.
I started in the year 2000.
I suppose that would have been your first year of college.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, no, maybe not then. So it would have probably been 2001, 2002. Yeah. But either way, close to 14, 15 years of just getting free burgers. Every year on my birthday. That was actually a fun thing to do.
Yeah, there's not and the other thing too, especially when I was in college through now, I usually just hang out with people and like they'll buy me drinks. I don't really do a whole lot. I don't really celebrate my birthday per se. So, I mean,
All right. So where does Bart go for all of his free stuff on his birthday? So first up, Phineas Q Butterfat's free birthday sundae. And he comes up with his coupon. Free birthday sundae, please. And he gives him a little... I like the picture on the wall. Picture on the wall, huge. Big giant sundae. And then he gives him this little tiny scoop of ice cream.
Not even a scoop. It was like a spoonful.
Right? Hey, they didn't actually, in the coupon, they didn't say how big the free sundae was. They just said true. Free sundae.
That's true. And so next up, he goes to Jake's Unisex Hair Palace for a free birthday shave, even though he's 10.
I don't know if that was necessarily meant for him.
And I love the fact that Bart like acts like this old guy, and he goes, back in my day, they had compact discs, and you didn't hear no complaining. And I think in a previous episode, we talked about compact discs, but just to bring it back up, compact discs were first released in October of 82. So they've been around.
Yeah, but I think CDs really weren't the norm until early 90s. Because, I mean, even into 94, 95, I was still doing cassettes for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think the norm for CDs was till like early mid-90s.
Yeah. So then he takes free tango lessons, which Bart's a pretty good dancer.
Yep, he was a dance man.
And so, and then after that, he goes to his birthday party at Wally Weasels, where we cram fun down your throat. And obviously, this is a reference to Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yes.
Clear reference to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, Wally Weasels, with its frantic combination of games, pizza, and odd animatronic characters, parodies the Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time theater chain.
See, that was a lot. You know, it's funny. I've only been to Chuck E. Cheese maybe 2 or 3 times in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up with the animatronic age of Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. I mean, I've been to a few Chuck E. Cheeses here and there since then. And yeah, they're pretty much removed. I mean, I don't think they do the Chuck E. Cheese mascot and even wandering around anymore. Yeah. They changed the way Chuck E. Cheese even looks.
Oh,
to be more hip and cool, I guess.
I haven't been inside a Chuck E. Cheese in I want to say 15 years.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. And so we get inside and you see a guy dressed up in the Wally Weasel costume coming out with a pizza. And the kids all gather around him thinking, he's really Wally Weasel because they're kids. And they ask the mascot to do something funny. And the guy just says he's a waiter. Which I didn't think you were supposed to talk when you were inside the costume.
Nope. That's rule number 1.
And so I did notice some of the games in Wally Weasel. You had Whack-A-Weasel, Touch of Death.
Yep.
And Bart was playing a game called Larry the Looter.
Yep. There was also a couple other ones. Time Waster.
Oh, yep.
Coffee Fiend. And Comic Shop.
Ah, okay. I did like the fact that they had Touch of Death.
I know. That was pretty cool. And if you guys don't remember, that was from back in the when Flanders failed episode.
Yeah. So then we get a curtain rises. We get an animatronic weasel, and it asks Bart how old he is, and Bart can't answer fast enough. And then the weasel's like, "Would you like us to sing you a song?" Hell no.
Well, he's like, "Hey there, I hear it's your birthday. How old are you?" "Well, I'm..." And then, "That's great. Would you like us to sing you a special song?" "Hell no. You got it. Ready, Signor Beaverati?" "I'm ready. And a 1 and a 2. You're the birthday, you're the birthday, you're the birthday boy or girl."
And then the beaver starts on fire.
Horrible animatronics, man.
So after all of that, we cut to Bart opening presents. He gets a label maker from Patty and Selma, a pair of socks, Dr. Marvin Monroe's Guide to Etiquette book. Clearly somebody doesn't think Bart has good etiquette, which he probably doesn't. And a cactus plant.
Now, here's the thing. Do you think Lisa's gift was the Dr. Marvin Monroe's thing, or we don't actually get Lisa's gift? She got $110+ from Homer, yet Bart doesn't open Lisa's gift?
Yeah, maybe she just kept all the money for himself or herself. But that would be out of character for Lisa.
Well,
so
yeah, that's
maybe she bought him the cactus plant
or the etiquette book.
One of the two. I think she would have bought it. I don't know. What do you guys think Lisa bought for Bart for his birthday?
Because obviously we don't know.
Yeah. And then so Bart's like all grumbly and bumbly, and Homer's he's like, oh, he's really gonna like my present. And he's like, Bart, open my present. You'll really like it. And Bart just takes one look at it and he goes, and just throws it off to the side.
It's because he's turning 10 years old again. He's like, he already went through this. He's like, I'm bored already.
Yeah.
So Martin tells Bart that he noticed that his other presents are not great and thinks his present will turn the tide. And Martin basically bought Bart a matching hat and jacket so they could be twins. But at least Bart put it on and took a picture. Yeah. He could have said no.
Clearly Bart was not impressed by Martin's present.
No. And so we come back to the Simpson house, and Bart's enjoying Patty and Selma's present by labeling literally everything in the house property of Bart Simpson. Even Santa's little helper and cupboards, and I feel like Bart would have run out of labels by the time he was done with the kitchen, unless Patty and Selma gave him a couple rolls of those things.
Maybe
like those things do actually run out. Pretty quickly, depending on what property of Bart Simpson. That's a lot of letters.
Yeah.
And so I like how Homer wanders into the kitchen and goes into the fridge to grab a beer. He's like, "Oh, this is the last beer," and it's Bart's.
It's because Bart drinks beer. Like, come on, Homer.
He was just running around labeling everything.
Now, if he was looking for like a Buzz Cola, that joke would have landed. But with the beer, that joke really doesn't land for me. It takes me out of the believability realm.
Yeah. And so Homer wanders into Bart's room and asks how he's liking the microphone, but he never even opened or took it out of the box. He's using it as a prop to keep his window open, because I'm assuming his little latches to keep the window open broke or something.
And Homer's like, as a kid, I would have loved this toy. And Bart's like, here you go.
Yep. Here, you can have it. And then I like how he's like, here, I'll show you. So Homer busts it out and starts singing Convoy through Lisa's radio. And it's like really crappy and distorted. And, he's just trying to convince Bart that the microphone's cool. And and then he goes like, what was it? It was downstairs and he's singing to Marge. And it was all distorted. He's like, what's for dinner or something? It's like, I can't hear you. It's all distorted. And so now Marge is trying to convince, Bart that it's, cool to do. It's like, maybe if you don't scream in it like Homer does. And he's like, well, maybe. And so Homer goes back down to the freezer and he's going through the freezer for ice cream. And I like how they got Neapolitan ice cream. And he's like, chocolate. Or he's like, chocolate? Vanilla? Strawberry? And he's like, Marge, we're all out of chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream.
Why? And that's the thing. Why? Like, if all he wants is chocolate, just buy him chocolate ice cream. What a waste of ice cream.
Because no one's eating the vanilla or strawberry.
It's a waste.
Apparently no one, I would figure you buy all three because someone likes the other flavors, but no, everyone just wants it for the chocolate.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Yeah, and then he's like, all right, I'll get some at the store. He's like, chocolate. And so I like how Bart uses the microphone to convince Homer that aliens have taken over. And so Homer's like, oh my God. And he runs up and grabs a shotgun. And I'm like, since when do the Simpsons own a shotgun? We've never seen the Simpsons in any other future episode, I think, having any sort of weapons in the house aside from Bart's slingshot.
No. Homer bought a gun. Homer buys a gun in one episode.
I guess maybe, but okay.
No, not maybe. He does.
For which episode?
I don't remember what the name of the
episode.
episode.
Maybe.
No,
Um,
not maybe. I know
you-
for a fact he buys a gun because he points it at Marge's face.
Ooh, there is the shotgun episode where he hooks up the makeup. Remember during the
Yeah.
Thomas Edison episode, and he shoots
Yeah.
Marge in the face?
Yeah,
Wonder if that's the same shotgun.
maybe.
We'll have to put a pin in it to see if I just don't know where Homer or why Homer would have a shotgun in his house. It's not like he goes hunting or.
But there is an episode where Homer buys a gun.
But that has nothing to do with this episode. I'm wondering how he has a gun.
No, but you asked if we've never seen in a future episode that they didn't own a gun.
But still, I'm just wondering how they have a shotgun or why they have a shotgun. And we've never seen the shotgun.
The episode where Homer buys a gun is called The Cartridge Family, and it is in the 9th season.
All right. So he buys a gun then, but why do they have a shotgun now?
I don't know.
For what purpose? I like I said, I don't know why they even have a gun.
To protect themselves from the evil aliens that are taking over.
All right. And then Homer realizes that Bart tricked him because he's laughing, and then he strangles him like Homer does. But then Homer realizes that Bart actually likes his present and asks Bart not to use it for practical jokes, and yeah, Bart promises.
And then at the end of it, they hug, and Bart sticks a Property of Bart Simpson label on Homer's butt.
Yes.
Why you'd want to own that, I don't know, but it's a prank. So then so Bart decides to, break his promise, because that's what Bart does, and he puts his radio underneath Maggie's pillow, and he goes, Mama, Mama, and Marge thinks that Maggie's really talking, and then she's
like, "Oh, say it again. Sorry, lady, the show's over."
It's over. Oh my god, that was great. All right, so then we see Lisa reading Non-Threatening Boys magazine with Janie, which she's read before, and Bart had placed the microphone underneath her bed so him and Milhouse could listen to their conversation. And I don't know why they'd want to listen to that conversation. It doesn't seem like it'd be thrilling for them.
No, but it's Bart and Milhouse. They want to know what girls are talking about.
Yeah. And then Bart takes it to school with him, and he places the radio underneath Mrs. Krabappel's desk. And I did pause after she was done with the math. Her math was really weird underneath like the her
she's
math
doing
was
another
correct.
but she's doing another crazy division problem again.
Yeah, that was a really big number to divide by 2.
Like what? Like I just don't understand again what the deal with Mrs. Krabappel and these giant division problems are.
I don't know. And so when she goes to sit down, Bart uses the microphone to make it seem like she farted when she was sitting down.
Classic.
And she goes, Mrs. Krabappel, and like Milhouse and Nelson, say good job. And then we cut back to him being home. And he's able now in the commercial, it does say you can use the microphone on any AM radio.
Yep.
And so you could see into Rod and Todd's room, and Bart uses the microphone to tell them that he is God and trick them that he is God. And he commands them first to walk through a wall, which Todd can't do. And then he tells them to bring him cookies and put it on the Simpsons.
It's like, those are our mom and dads. Do you want a vengeful God or a happy God?
Happy God. A happy God. And so, after that's all done, Bart's like, you know what? I'm going to put this radio down the well. And he drops it down the wall.
Yeah.
Now, here's the
so
thing.
If he would have actually
did it break?
Did it break? No, it didn't break.
It did break. But how come it didn't break? Because that's a pretty big
fall. Oh,
fall.
you're talking about the radio.
The radio.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, no, I thought you said the rope broke. No, it just wasn't long enough of a rope, and he dropped it in.
But how come the radio didn't break? There's clearly rocks down there.
Yeah, the radio probably should have shattered. Unless it's one of those drop-proof, like, army radios,
It could be.
Probably not, because it's probably a cheap radio.
So then he uses it, and he convinces Willie that there's a kid trapped in the well. And Willie believes him, because it's Willie. And eventually the world travels around the town that there's a kid in the well. And the whole town believes Bart's prank. And you would think, now again, Springfield seems like it's a small town.
Yeah.
You would think you would know there's a Timmy O'Toole in the city.
Well, I don't know. They said he doesn't have parents, so if he was in an orphanage, not everyone knows every child at an orphanage.
That's true.
But here's one thing. Here's one thing I just want to point out before we get too much farther. So Bart's has his own personal radio, right? So that makes sense. That makes sense. The Rod and Todd Flanders thing, I don't know if that would work, because if it works on any AM radio, my guess would be is that there's a dial on the microphone.
Yes.
That says the radio station.
Yeah.
And then you have to tune the radio to the radio station as well.
Yes.
So it would just be a miracle that, unless Bart literally tried every radio station on the microphone.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the radio would have to be turned on, and Bart wouldn't necessarily be able to interrupt a radio frequency, I don't think. It's kind of like, remember in the old days where it wasn't Bluetooth, but it was one of those adapters.
Radio yeah. No, that happened. That happened to me and my friends once. We were driving to Florida. We were listening to, I believe it was Mitch Hedberg. We were listening to some comedian, and we were able to take over another car's signal with our adapter, and we had stopped to like grab food or something. And the same car had actually stopped at the same place. And they're like, were you guys listening to a comedian? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, it took over our car radio. We're like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's because as long as you're on the correct station. So I'm just wondering if that's how this microphone worked. I don't know if I don't know if they would necessarily be able to talk to Rod and Todd.
The other thing too is Rod and Todd wouldn't be able. Now, granted, Bart can probably hear them from his window, but now, granted, Rod and Todd are probably gullible. But wouldn't you think that it's not really God, because he probably can't hear you?
Well, Rod and Todd are morons, and like God a lot.
So Bart tells the town his name is Timmy O'Toole, and he has no family, as we mentioned before. And I love how he's like, oh, I tried to get into the school, but Principal Skinner wouldn't let me because of my clothes. And the town people just boo Skinner.
And he's like,
he's like, but I didn't. And he calls the kid a liar, but clearly there's a kid in the well.
Well, there's no kid in the well, but
the people believe there's a kid in the well.
No, I know that, but I don't think if Skinner was like, he's lying, wouldn't I be like, I never met a Timmy O'Toole. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so we see Brockman on TV talking about the circumference of the well, and it's 34 inches, and none of our policemen are able to fit down. Yeah, he's like, the circumference of the well is 34 inches. So unfortunately, not one member of our city's police force is slender enough to rescue the boy.
Now, to be fair, that's only a 3 foot, barely a 3 foot opening. Like, how would you even get him out?
That's a really wide well hole, dude. My width my waist is only about 2.5 feet maybe. Like, I'd be able to squeeze down the well and squeeze back out.
I probably would not, because I have a 34-inch waist.
So you would not. You'd be like a Chief Wiggum. Well, actually, you would just fit. Maybe grease you up. You could be the greased up Scotsman and slide down the well. I'm surprised Willie didn't grease up this episode to do that.
Now, that's the other thing, too. Okay, there's a kid down the well. None of the police can go down there. Why couldn't you just get, I don't know, a citizen to do it? Why does it have to be a cop?
Well, or a fireman. Firemen know how to do it.
Yeah.
They rescue people from trees. Maybe not from wells, but
like, you're telling me you couldn't get a citizen with, like, Willie? Willie is a ripped guy. You couldn't get Willie to go down the well?
He probably would too.
Yeah.
If he just asked him. But Brockman said rescuing Timmy under consideration because Timmy's foot's caught under a rock, which because you don't want to rip off his leg. And
so move the rock. Get somebody in the well, move the rock.
Not if it's heavy. So we get Falcon Man, no real name, grasping the child.
Is it a falcon or an eagle?
Falcon.
It looked like an eagle.
No, it's a falcon. Those guys are falcons. So grasping the child firmly in his talons, Socrates here will fly him to safety. Just watch. And his falcon flies away. I don't think he's coming back. And then a sailor comes in, which I'm surprised it wasn't Sea Captain yet, but I guess we haven't really met Sea Captain yet.
No.
So it's a sailor. Probably eventually I bet that guy eventually becomes
Sea captain.
Sea captain. With his hook and this hunk of chocolate, I'll land your boy, and I'll clean him for free. And that's a reference to the character Quint from the 1975 movie Jaws.
Hey, I get that reference.
Good job. And then lastly, we get Professor Frank. Although we can't reach the boy, we can freeze him with liquid nitrogen so that the future generations can rescue him. Freeze him for 1,000 years and pull him out of the well. And then we get Futurama.
Yeah.
1,000 years in a frozen tube, right?
Well, tube, not well.
Yeah, a well's kind of a tube.
Yeah.
And so Marge does a prayer before dinner to protect Timmy. And I like how Bart just bursts out laughing like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys are falling for this. And I feel like at this point, Bart really probably shouldn't. But that's the one thing with, I wouldn't say this is probably a criminal action, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with people who are bad and do criminal things. Eventually you get caught. Eventually you do something stupid like this, like laughing at this, and then eventually you get
But he doesn't get caught.
Not this time.
But he does. No.
Nope. And so Homer tells the family that Timmy's a hero. And I like how Homer's like, that Timmy's a real hero. Lisa's like, how do you mean, Dad? Well, he fell down a well and he can't get out. He's like,
more than you've ever done.
It's like, well, how does that make him a hero?
It doesn't.
Well, that's more than you've ever did.
That's not how heroism works.
I mean, he's the new, he's like 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
So Krusty gathers others to sing because, you know, you got to have like a what was it called? I found it right here. So we're sending our love. Yeah, so sending our love down the well was inspired by celebrity recording "We Are the World" for the USA for Africa. But you know, Krusty's like, he's like, I used to open for, or what was it? Yeah, it was Krusty gets Sting to record, and Sting was like, I used to open for Krusty in '69. In fact, he fired me, as I recall. But this isn't about show business. This is about some kid down a hole or something, and we've all got to do what we can.
Yeah. And
so they record the well song, and so some of the celebrities that were there are in the front row. So in the front row, we got Troy McClure, Scott Christensen, the what was that? The fluff piece guy, the really stiff fluff piece guy, Stephanie the Weather Lady, Bleeding Gums Murphy, Mayor Diamond Joe Quimby, Krusty, Princess Cashmere. Then up in the second row, we got Sting, Sideshow Mel, McBain.
Or Rainier Wolfcastle.
Who plays him, but he was actually McBain. So if you look closely, he actually had his gun in his holster. So he was McBain.
Rainier Wolfcastle could carry a gun around.
No, he was McBain. Dr. Marvin Monroe, Captain Lance Murdoch, which apparently he's not broken right now. So that's good.
That's good.
And the Capital City Goofball.
Yep.
And so after they I do got hold on. I got the lyrics to the song too. Okay. So Sting starts, "There's a hole in my heart as deep as a well for that poor little boy who's stuck halfway to hell." And then Sideshow Mel comes in, "Though we can't get him out, we'll do the next best thing. Then McBain will go on TV and sing, sing, sing." And then as a choir, we're sending our love down the well. And Krusty's like, "All the way down. We're sending our love down the well." And then Krusty comes in again, "Down that well."
Yep.
So they did that's a good song, and they're gonna make a little money off of it, I guess. And so we cut back to the hole. And so on site, there's a vendor that's selling "I Survived Timmy O'Toole Getting Trapped in a Well" t-shirts.
Like, how is that a shirt? Nobody survives it except for Timmy O'Toole.
Yep. And then there's a man selling Timmy's baby teeth, $6 per bag. And then,
who would buy that?
And where are people expecting him to get Timmy's teeth if he's down a well?
Yeah.
And then there's also a sign on the well that reads "Admission $2."
Like, yeah, they set up like a carnival thing around the well.
Yep, there's a hot dog stand, a game stand, and a Ferris wheel.
Like, who's making money off of this? You're horrible people.
I know.
There's a kid trapped in a well. Or unless, now the only way that this makes any sense is they're trying to raise money to get Timmy out of the well.
I mean, that's obviously, I think, what it is. But I don't know why you would need... Well, yeah. I mean, why else would Sting and those guys do it?
That's true.
But, I mean, okay, so I get the food. I get the carnival atmosphere. The teeth, obviously not. The shirt, kind of weird. You could have probably done a different shirt or something. But the making money thing, that I think that definitely makes sense. But the $2 admission, I could see maybe a bin for donations.
Yeah.
But a $2 admission, that kind of goes a little bit too far.
Yeah. So we cut back and we see an episode of Itchy and Scratchy in Cat Splat Fever.
Yeah.
And so Itchy leaves a note for Scratchy that says, "Goodbye, cruel world." And Scratchy turns around to see Itchy jump into a well. Scratchy jumps in after him to try and save Itchy, but Itchy is sitting on a brick and Scratchy falls all the way down and gets eaten by an alligator. Scratchy's ghost, I guess you would call it, starts ascending to heaven out of the well, and Itchy shoots it with a gun, and Scratchy's ghost falls down the well again. And the episode was dedicated to Timmy O'Toole.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, because who doesn't like seeing Scratchy get mutilated?
Or shot.
And or shot. So, and Lisa's watching it, and all of a sudden, there's breaking news. Or is that a little bit later?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's breaking news. They hear, growling coming from the well, and we see Bart fighting Santa's little helper with his microphone. And I love how Dr. Marvin Monroe is like, Timmy is reverting back to a primitive wolf-like state. And there's a picture of the wolf boy. and so Lisa hears the growling and she figures out that it's Bart, and she sees Bart, playing tug of war with Santa's little helper. And she admonishes Bart for his prank and tells him when the town finds out what he has done, they will want to cut him with rusty razors.
Yeah.
That's a little dark. Even for Lisa.
Yeah, it seems.
And then Bart's like, well, how are they going to find out? And he just looks at Lisa like, are you going to tell him? And Lisa goes, well, the police will catch you eventually. And Bart goes, well, they can't even catch a cold, which is true. The Springfield Police Department is very inept. They are very bad.
Yeah.
And so Lisa's like, well, I bet you were stupid enough to put a Property of Bart label on your radio. And we pan from the Simpsons house down the well. Sure enough, Bart was stupid enough to put a Property of Bart Simpson's label on his radio.
Yeah, they'll eventually figure out when they figure out an exact way they want to get down there and get them. I mean, what's it been, 2, 3, 4 days, or maybe a week?
Something like that.
Well, we got so Krusty, this might give us a little insight. So Krusty was like, I wanted to do something to help the boys, so I called my good friend Sting. He said, Krusty, when do you need me? I said Thursday. He said, I'm busy Thursday. I said, what about Friday? He said, well, Friday's worse than Thursday. Then he said, how about Saturday? I said, fine. True story. So maybe it's been about 4 or 5, maybe a week since Timmy's fallen down the well.
Yeah, and so we cut back to the well where Eddie and Lou are reading Cinderella to Timmy. And so they're like, oh, he sounds like he's asleep. And so they walk away. Bart sees him, leaves, and he sneaks in and he, ties a rope around his stump, starts going. He's like halfway down the well, and Eddie and Lou come back. They see the rope, and Lou's like, I almost tripped over this thing, and kicks the rope. And as Bart is descending down the well, we hear the theme from Beverly Hills Cop.
that was pretty cool. It was either that.
No, it is the theme from Beverly
Hills
Cop.
No. I think it would have been either that one or the Mission Impossible theme. Those two would have played really well.
I like the Beverly Hills Cop one.
Yeah, that one was good. And so Bart's yelling out for help after he falls down. And he's like, I'll level with you guys. There is no Timmy. I was playing a prank. He's like, well, maybe we'll play a prank on you. Go home and sleep. And
then
so,
they leave.
but they left. But they didn't do that. They didn't go home and sleep. They actually went to the Simpsons' house, and
That's true.
they told them that Bart fell down the well. And Homer's like, "You must think we are the worst parents in the world." It's like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, he's always been a bad kid, so I don't know. At some point, I guess the Simpsons could be like, it's just the way he is. And so Homer goes down. He's like, well, I know you're going to be down there for a while, so I brought the Krusty doll. And he hucks it down the well and hits him with it.
And he's got some other stuff. I did notice. So he's holding a goldfish bag. There's 2 goldfish in there, but they look like Blinky. They look like they have 3 eyes.
Well, Homer does work at the nuclear power plant, so he knows where the pond where Blinky lives. So maybe Blinky kids.
Maybe.
Little baby Blinkies. And so Bart tells Homer to knock it off and calls him a bag of goo. Is that what he said? That's what he called.
I thought so. I replayed the scene a couple times, and that's what it sounded like.
Maybe it was muffled because he was in a well.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like something Bart would say. And then Homer tries to go down there because he's upset. I was like, get him out of there. Just like Wiggum, doesn't fit.
Homer wasn't going to fit anyways.
Yeah. And so now that, they learn that it's not Timmy and they learn that it's, Bart, Wiggum's like, well, I'm afraid we've got a budget problem, Mrs. Simpson. Your boy picked a bad time to fall down a well. If he'd done it at the start of the fiscal year, no problemo. Well, they didn't have money to get Timmy out of the well, so to be fair, they probably don't have.
Well, Wiggum basically said they would have saved Timmy, but because Bart played the town, they won't do it.
Yep. And so Homer tells that it's not their fault, but they didn't want Bart because it was an accident.
As we learned in the last episode, Bart was an accident.
Yep. They did it in the castle that was impregnable.
Yep.
So we get to the school playground and the girls are playing hopscotch, and Janie and Wanda are like 1 plus 1. Oh wait, sorry.
Plus
1
3.
plus 1 plus 3 is 5. Little Bart Simpson's buried alive. He's so neat. He's so sweet. Now the rats have Bart to eat.
Wow. How many days until Bart croaks?
And Lisa walks by and is like, hey, that's not nice. Yep. And then, Lisa wanders away. And
so then and this is where we learn that Funky C, Funky Do takes the #1 spot from whatever the name of the well song is that they are sending our love down the well. And I do like the fact they look like Milli Vanilli. Yeah, the song that took over We're Sending Our Love Down the Well was I Do Believe We're Naked by Funky C, Funky Do. Oh my God. So then we see a writer in his car, and he's writing out a headline. It said, "Town to Wellboy, no more free food." And the guy's name is David Shutton. I don't know if we knew that.
No. Was that the same guy who wrote about the Blinky?
Maybe. Yeah, I think it was. Maybe.
I'd have 3 eyes on every fish?
Maybe. It's possible.
It kind of looked like him.
Yeah, and then he gets a phone call saying they found a better story, and he drives away, and we get the next headline: "Squirrel resembling Abraham Lincoln found."
Yeah.
And it is a squirrel that resembles Abraham Lincoln. And so Marge and Homer head back to the well. Marge knit Bart a sweater, but it's too big, and Homer's like, "That's all right, you'll grow into it."
Yeah.
And so then Bart kind of breaks down, and he's sorry for all the bad stuff that he's done. And he's like, there's still things that I wanted to do, like smoke a cigarette, use a fake ID, and shave a swear word into my hair.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that's what 10-year-old boys want to do.
Okay, whoa. So smoke a cigarette? Bart smoked cigars before.
That is true. But maybe he's never smoked a cigarette.
I mean, come on. At this point, as we learn, who would we learn from? Patty and Selma. Because who did she date? Who was that smoked cigars? Was it? It wasn't Sideshow
Troy
Bob.
McClure.
Was it Troy McClure? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, wow, it's like smoking 5 cigarettes at once. So, okay. So if Bart says he never smoked a cigarette, he smoked 5 cigarettes at once when he smoked cigars with Grandpa. So
that's true.
He's done it.
And so then Homer's, he can't stand to see his kid sad. He goes, that's all I can stands, and I can't stands no more.
And I think that was like Popeye the Sailor Man, right? That's something
like
he
that.
says when he eats his spinach.
Yeah, something like that.
And he sounded kind of like Popeye too.
Yeah, it's Popeye, not Popeye.
Popeye.
It's Popeye. Homer decides he's gonna get Bart out of the well by himself, and so he grabs a shovel and he starts digging. And I love how Willie sees Homer. He's like, "Well, why didn't I think of that?"
Yeah,
and he goes to grab his own shovel, who he is named Agnes. And then Willie rips off his shirt, and we see that Willie is jacked because he's a groundskeeper. He probably works out, just keeping the ground.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to The Simpsons, or we cut back to a TV, and I love this kind of like gotcha moment because Kent Brockman's like, we have a special bulletin. The Lincoln Squirrel has been assassinated. And I really thought they were going to do them digging the hole for, get Bart out of the well. But no, the Lincoln Squirrel has been assassinated.
Yup, that was awesome.
And then Lisa sees all the town folk running with shovels, and she's like, what's going on? And they're like, it's a good old Jasper's like, it's a good old fashioned
hole digging.
Hole digging.
By gar, it's been a while.
Well, okay, Jasper, you crazy old kook. And so we get to them shoveling a hole, and they do the layer thing where you see stuff in the dirt, and we get a triceratops, a treasure chest, and an alien spaceship found with a dead alien side. And that dead alien is a King and Kodos alien species.
So they've been to our planet before.
They have.
Oh.
They just got buried in the ground. Maybe,
so okay, all right, Mr. Treehouse of Horror is not canon. What are King and Kodos doing in a spaceship below the Earth if it's not canon? They just don't normally visit Earth in a not Treehouse of Horror episode. So come on, Mr. Canon. Explain.
Now here's the thing. So as you get deeper into the Earth,
Treehouse of Horror becomes canon. Okay, got it.
No. Listen. So the Triceratops is at the top layer. So that means that's the newest thing. So I'm gonna guess that these aliens are from like a long, long time ago, and they used to live on Earth, and they left.
Live on Earth. They were in a spaceship. Their spaceship crashed. They got buried under the Earth.
But how did they get buried underneath the Triceratops?
No, you're right. They got there before the Triceratops. But I'm assuming they crash landed and got buried alive. It's not like they just got in their spaceship and lived there underneath the Earth and died in their ship. I'm saying that was like so remember how like we saw the King and Kodos' ship? It's a big ass ship, but they're like little pod ships come down to Earth. Their pod ship crashed and they died inside their ship. It's not like they lived on Earth.
So I think maybe the alien race is a lot like 3 million years old.
And I like how you're dodging the question about the Treehouse of Horror being canon because they're clearly part of the Simpsons universe.
Or maybe it's just a joke.
All right. So Apu points out. So they're pretty deep. They're pretty much at Bart level now, and they built kind of like a cave system. I would have to say. God knows how long this took. 10 minutes, but they built a cave system. And down in the hole, Apu points out that there's a dead canary. Now, how it got down there?
They brought it down in a cage.
Who did?
It was in a cage. Yeah.
Oh, why would they bring a canary down there?
Okay, so canaries in like the mining days were used to warn miners about poisonous gases.
Yeah,
that's why it's down there. So if the canary dies, get the hell out of that hole.
Yep, but the Hibbert tells the men that the canary died of natural causes.
So then they go back in the hole.
Yeah.
So they brought an old canary with
apparently. And so we see that Sting stuck around to help, and Marge's like, Sting, you look tired. Maybe you should take a rest. Not while one of my fans needs me. And Marge's like, actually, I don't know if I've ever heard Bart play one of your albums. And Homer's like, shh, Marge, he's a good digger.
Yeah.
And so Homer shoves Sting out of the way once he breaks through, and he got Bart out. And Homer assures Bart that the city is taking steps to make sure no one falls down this well again. And I like how Willie's outside hammering in a sign that says "Caution Well."
I do like how quickly they replaced all the land they dug up too.
Yeah, right. Bulldozer. Maybe they bulldozed it back into the hole. But I like how instead of maybe putting a cave, okay. So I've seen a few wells in my time around more rural areas.
Yeah,
but most wells have like cages, like rebar cages built over them with a padlock on it, so the city can unpadlock it.
Yeah.
But yet they decide not to do that. They just decide to put a sign that says "Caution Well."
And Willie's like, that should do it. No. What happens if they come from the other side where they can't see the sign?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this was not one of my favorite episodes. I mean, there were funny parts, obviously. Not one of my favorite episodes. I mean, I think what irked me the most was Bart was already 10. Why are they having this be a thing? 2, there's this whole storyline apparently about Lisa getting an amazing gift completely washed out.
Well, no, she asked Homer for money to buy a gift. That's all we saw.
Yeah, but what was the gift? We saw Bart literally opening every gift. I feel like Lisa could have trumped Martin. Like, seriously. Like, why did Martin?
I could have trumped Martin.
I mean, really, I think that was so stupid. I mean, I personally, don't get me wrong, there's so many funny parts. I'm glad there was a new guest voice with Sting. Yeah. But man, I'm gonna go with and eat my shorts at number 2.
Ooh,
I just can't stand, like, I just feel like this episode just almost had no point. Like, I don't know. Like,
now going back, we said they might have done it out of order, which is a possibility. But and this episode might have been the start of where I like, because when we first started this podcast, I had talked about how The Simpsons don't have good continuity.
Yeah.
And now if this episode was out of order, then and they've had decent continuity. But taking this episode as face value, no continuity stuff in that vein, I enjoy the episode. It is funny. It's got good jokes. You know, we see Bart being a prankster. It builds off of the previous episode a little bit because they talk about
for continuity. Okay, so for continuity purposes, yeah. I mean, we learned stuff from we kept stuff from last episode to this episode. Yes. But just the amount of stuff that just doesn't necessarily like fit.
I like the label maker scene. I like the Wally Weasels. I think it's a good episode. I don't think you're giving it as I don't know, Bart. It's like deserves.
Okay, so Bart doesn't even care that it's his birthday. Like I said, like it just made it seem like
he cares that it's his birthday though. He goes out and gets free stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do
that. You don't do that if you don't care that it's your birthday.
No. To be fair, you could not care that it's your birthday, but free stuff. Dude, if I could walk out any day of my life to get free stuff, I'd be happy. Like, it doesn't have to be my birthday to be happy about free stuff.
I think Bart cared that it was his birthday. I don't think he liked the presents.
Well, maybe. Well,
he didn't like the presents. The presents were the only 2 good presents he got were the label maker and the microphone. Do you want a pair of socks for your birthday? No. Do you want a cactus for your birthday?
If they're awesome socks, I'd love.
Do you want a matching cap and jacket from one of your friends so you could be twinsies? No. I think it's a good episode. I'm going with a 4 sprinkles. I think this might be one of the very few episodes that we've been this far apart on an episode, but I enjoyed it. I think it's funny. I think it's good. I like the references. Were there some bits of it that could have been done better? Absolutely. Did some of it make sense? I mean, it's a Simpsons episode. How many Simpsons episodes make sense per se?
Well, yeah.
I think it's enjoyable. I think I think my favorite joke in the entire episode is the Lincoln squirrel subplot. I think that is
Oh,
phenomenal.
I'll give you that. I mean, that was fun. I mean, I'm not saying there's not funny parts. It's just as an episode all together. Like, yes, I can imagine bits being funny. Yes, I was laughing during our recording, but
I
just
think
putting it all.
well.
I think putting it all together and what the episode just was, just I don't know. I don't know, the whole birthday aspect of it, which was the first half of the episode, just there, and then. I don't know. Like, it just didn't seem to fit.
I enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 4 sprinkles.
All right.
Again, this might be one of the very few episodes that we've been vastly apart on.
Yeah. So now I'm going to get to my favorite part of the episode. We're going to give you a character profile.
By the way, I think this is everybody's favorite part of the episode.
Is it? All right.
Because I love learning about the characters.
They are pretty funny. So this week we have our lovable, ripped groundskeeper Willie. His occupation, thickly accented Springfield Elementary maintenance man / groundskeeper.
Turn the noozle.
Turn the noozle.
The noodle? What noodle? The noozle on the end of the who's where? We'll get to that. I love that.
His nationality is Scottish. His hair, red and shaggy. His eyebrows, red and even shaggier. His physique, muscular and bodybuilder, which, I mean, to be a maintenance guy, I mean, you gotta do a lot of heavy lifting and stuff like that. But I like how if you look at his appearance, wearing his overalls, and you would not see that coming at all.
I love
it. His attitude, surly, particularly when confronted by Principal Skinner.
I mean...
Yep. And then carries a flask of liquid courage.
Yeah,
which,
liquid courage.
I'm going to go with whiskey because he's Scottish.
Probably a good guess.
Yep. And his favorite problem-solving device, a 12-bore shotgun.
I mean, that'll solve a lot of things.
Yep. All right. So we've come to our conclusion, guys. So let us tell you where you can find all of our fun other content that's not the podcast. So you can head over to Instagram and find us at The Simpsons Did It Pod. You can head over to Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. You can head over to Facebook, type in The Simpsons Did It Podcast, and join us on there. If you love our content and love our swag and love our stuff and want us to have more stuff in the future, head over to buymeacoffee.com/Simpsons Did It and feel free to donate as little or as much as you feel you would like. And we'll send you out some free swag for, supporting our show. Yep. So, and then lastly, we are on YouTube. So head on over to YouTube and type in The Simpsons Did It Podcast. If you like it, click like and subscribe, and you'll get notified when new episodes pop on there. The good news is they are a few, 13, 14 episodes back. So if you are caught up to episode 48, which we're on right now, and you're like, you know what? I want to go back to episode 1. Instead of, doing it through your podcast app, you can do it through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And see a little screenshot of something to stare at while we're talking. So, fun. All right, guys. So, we're on, like I mentioned, we're on episode 48. We're only 2 more episodes away from episode 50, our big 5-0. So, stay tuned for that. So, until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.